Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Munich, Germany today.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in rainy Asheville, North Carolina.
Whew. Rainy, that's not fun. It's hard
It was 85 and sunny yesterday in Savannah, and rainy and 40, no, was it 50 or something today? But yeah, cold here.
Yeah, it's chilly in Munich. It got into the low 50s, though, but just a day or two ago, it was barely in the 40s. I don't know. I'm expecting spring weather to be coming here a little bit stronger, especially like in Belgium last weekend at the Tour of Flanders, Ronde van Vlaanderen. It was quite chilly. I put on all the layers I could. I got to go. I mean, I was super excited and pumped, and it was. I thought maybe it might rain, so I was preparing for rain, but then the rain forecast changed, so it was going to rain. I thought even in the morning, but that didn't even happen. It was just cloudy, and it was chilly. I was listening to the cycling podcast, and one of the Lionel Burney, who we actually had on our podcast for our 100th anniversary.
Yeah,
he's been with him the whole time, and he's so funny. But he thought it was really cold, so I thought, well, yeah, it was cold. But he's been to quite a few, and I know it's been more recent years. It seems like it's been warmer or better weather. So
yeah, and they had rain this week, in between the week, right in the week. And then now
for Paris-Roubaix coming up, it's been raining some, and
we dry on Sunday again.
We were just looking at the article about Wout van Aert, who he took a knock on a fall in one of the crashes.
Yeah, it took out Peter Sagan.
Alaphilippe. Yeah, it was quite a few crashes, unfortunately. It affected.
But that one was so bad because it sounded like a rider went into the grass, cut across, then got thrown. Well,
he was on the bike path that ended. The path, he'd gone out on the path, which he was supposed to do anyway, but they do all the time. And then it turned into grass.
Now, so
it turned into grass. And then it was really not just grass, it was wet. But I don't know I don't understand how he was carrying enough momentum to still be at the front of the peloton going through that grass. It seems like it was slowed him way up, but he was, then he veered right into it, right at the front. And then he took down most of the peloton, a lot of the peloton, and then he got disqualified. And then I keep
fined, I think, too.
I keep hearing from like Chris Horner, Johan Brunel, other people saying that he shouldn't have been disqualified.
Should not have been.
No, I mean, it seems like they disqualify riders who do things they aren't supposed to do, and then a crash happens. They're talking about, I was listening to, like in a sprint, like if there's a deviation and it causes a crash, then they get relegated. But if there's a deviation and nothing happens, nothing happens. Yeah. They don't get it. So the rules should be like, if you do something wrong, then you should be whatever disqualified or that. But they can't just like pick, if you break a rule and you cause something, then
it's the no harm no foul. The new rule, like in the playground basketball, no harm no foul. Same thing, right? Yeah.
So
if you don't hurt somebody, it's no big deal.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not good either way.
Yeah. People are pretty mad at him because, and I guess he
went to Twitter, right away, like within 10 minutes or something. So,
I heard that most people are like, right. But, you're apologizing the PR move. You're stupid for what you're doing. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, anyways, we got so much to talk about. Let's not zero in on those. I mean, it was a fast start. So, kind of torn in a way because when we do our podcasts, we always like to talk about what's happened, of course, but when it happened and it's already like towards the end of the week, we're already thinking about what's coming up because Paris-Roubaix is coming up. But Flanders is really extra special though because I got to be there. Yeah, because I got to be there. Yeah. It was an awesome race. I mean, just having the big three. I mean, the outstanding presence of having a Tour de France winner challenging the top classics riders who are also like the top cyclocross rider. I mean, this is the era of really just super high powered athletes at the top of their game.
And so I had a chance to be 4, but he just didn't have it because he was right there at one point. He made the move.
When he went Strade Bianchi, he was great for him. But then Turner Adriatico, is that where he had the crash? Got the concussion?
He got taken out, right? Did the Wout van Aert crash with them? Is that how it happened? Or
could be. But that turns out that race took out another rider too. We'll talk about a little bit later with Wilco Kelderman. There's a lot of top riders, but this race had so many great elements because they had Tadej Pogačar racing and trying to crack the code. Like, how does he beat these top classics guys? You have a breakaway that got formed. Not the first break. Finally, it took 100 kilometers because it was so fast. They had a tailwind at the beginning. I think you'll hear maybe in the interviews, I was thinking that there was going to be a tailwind.
Crosswind.
Cross tail at the cross, but I think it was the opposite.
A head cross for the finish.
Yeah. So anyway.
You got the same report the riders did too, because the interviews, it makes it sound like they all had the tail crosswind. Yeah.
But the way they finish, I think they do finish back towards the north. They finish outside of Oudenaarde. The women start right in Oudenaarde. That's where I took the train from Brussels. I flew in. Everything worked out, fortunately, for my flights. Unlike last year when I missed going to Copenhagen because my flights didn't work out. But the flights worked out. Got in early. Got the train. Wasn't so busy in Brussels. Not thinking, and I was thinking too. Of my whole company of people that could get on a plane to fly to Brussels to go to the biggest one-day races in the season, the Ronde van Vlaanderen, I must be one of the only ones from my company that is that big of a fan.
Right, they even cares.
They don't even know what's going on.
Right.
Because anybody could have picked up the trip. I had to pick it up, take extra time because it was from a different base out of New York. So, there wasn't like a couple other crew members that are trying to get it. No, I'm the only one of 30-some thousand people that could do that. So anyway, but once I got on the train that was heading towards Oudenaarde, then you started seeing the fans that were assembling to get on the train, and a lot of them wearing cycling caps. So I thought that was pretty nice. They're really good, and a lot of younger fans too. I thought, oh, that's great too, bringing out young fans. And yeah, it's just a great atmosphere. The women started in Oudenaarde, and that was to my advantage because to get my press credential, I had received both for men and women, but I think the men's would have been picking it up in where they started in Bruges, which first time I think 7 years they started in Bruges. They've changed that around some. And so with the women, though, I had a better press credential, and I did end up get a bib. I knew I couldn't be on the finish line, but I wasn't sure. And then they had a special media opportunity for a media shuttle to go to the Oude Kwaremont. So I thought, well, I prioritized being out there on the course at the Oude Kwaremont than hanging around the finish line because the finish is, it's fun to see who wins and them celebrating at the finish and maybe get an interview after the race like that. But it's a pretty flat, boring run into the finish. It's not. They actually was on the Oude Kwaremont. It's right. Really, it was on the Oude Kwaremont. A little bit on the Koppenberg and Kruisberg as well too, and some of the other climbs. But Oude Kwaremont played a big role, especially this year. And I didn't know when I got there that I had a media shuttle, and there's only a couple of people in it because I guess all the top photographers are riding on the back of the motorcycles, and some other media, but they offered the shuttle, and so they were closed. The course was closed to any vehicles, but they had this van, and there's a couple of us that got in it, and we had a police motorcycle escorting us to the part, and they were following the course and then took like a little shortcut up the back side of the Oude Kwaremont up in the fields to get up there, and because it had been raining some during the week, it was a little muddy just getting out, but they had stands set up like at the top part of the Oude Kwaremont where I got dropped off, and I went up to the fence right there, like, okay, where can I go? Where can I take pictures? I had this like monopod that I could put my GoPro on top because I knew if I couldn't get in front of the crowds, I could shoot from above, at least with my GoPro. But I can't get like a bunch of shots in a row. It's like take a picture, process, take a picture. So I was like, that's not ideal. But you can get some really nice, cool shot though, looking down the narrow area of the passage of the cobbles and the fans all along the side. And there was a group of riders that went through. I know there was a sportive the day before, so I'm not sure who was doing it the day of, because George Hincapie was over there doing the sportive the day before with a group. Yeah. And so I was checking out that. But then once they went by, the road was kind of opened up for fans to move like different positions. So I thought, at the very top it's kind of flattish. It wasn't a good place to really watch it. And so I started walking down. I wanted to get to more where the climb was. And as I go down the hill towards the top of the more steeper part, there was an open section on my left with a TV stand set up above high enough so like I wouldn't be in front of it. And the guy and I said, yeah, can I stand here? And there's only like two other guys there at that place. And he said, yeah, you got a bib on, you're okay. So I didn't have a bib for the finish line, but it was good enough to be in this spot there. So I thought, oh, this is great. Yeah. So the guy was just worried, don't lean back into the stand, it'll vibrate for the TV. So
knock me over.
I'm gonna do that. There was this woman that was like next to me. I don't know what affiliation she had, but she just had her phone. She was going to video next to me. Huh? But by the time I was there for the second and third passage for the men, one passage for the women, but the first time the men came by that I saw, that was their second passage, and so the break is established with Matteo Jorgensen, right behind me here.
Yeah.
And Nielsen Paulus, which fantastic. That was a super strong break that finally formed with about 100K to go, which is behind the earlier break. Behind the earlier break. The earlier break had Tim Relaire, some other riders, but then it was Casper Asgreen, I think. Was it the Molenberg? Boy, there's so much happened in this race, and maybe you don't. And I've been watching like different analysis or listening to different podcasts too about it.
I've been on vacation, so I saw a little bit of the race, and that's it so far. Nothing else after that. So
yeah, I think there was a break that formed, and then that crash they were talking about. Finally, they got a little bit more breathing room because they weren't given much room. But then Casper Asgreen, I think, was the one that formed this next break that went and pulled out some really high quality riders in the break, not the big three, but riders they were, I guess, fairly happy with to have up there. I mean, Matteo Trentin for UAE Emirates. Yeah. So then Nathan Van Hooydonk for Jumbo Visma. Maybe they would have rather had maybe a Christopher Laporte in there. I don't know, but they seem to be fine with that. Mads Pedersen.
Laporte was kind of hanging out with Van Aert, I think, to help him.
Mads Pedersen was up there.
Yeah.
Super, high quality. Florian Flemish. Then our guys. Matteo Jorgensen. Well, I think he came a little late to jump up to it.
They said he had to put in a super hard effort to make that last. Yeah, he almost missed it. Yeah.
Nielsen Paulus, who had already Jonas Ruch, was further up the road.
Yes.
So Nielsen Paulus was there, and I'm missing a couple, but so all the big teams were represented, except for Alpecin Phoenix, who had to burn out all the riders early because I guess Vanderpool likes to hang out in the back at the beginning of these races, and they kept saying, or when I listened to other analysis saying that he was caught napping at the back, but no, he's not napping. That's just where he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And he wasn't expecting that split. And so the split was enough. And because of the winds and the fast movement, he had to burn off several of his riders, including Soren Krag Andersen, who was one of the riders that possibly could have been like in that Mads Pedersen, Nielsen Paulus group that could offer help late in the race. He was up there at Milan San Remo. So anyway, at the Oude Kwaremont, when they were coming up as a group, before that, the motorcycle photographers were all coming up into position. And actually, they of course, they had preference, but there are other photographers that were coming in there too. And I kind of got shuffled behind. So I got some good pictures right at first, and then I started getting people in my way. But that's okay. And it was crazy because after the group came by, it wasn't much after that. Tadej Pogačar was already coming up, and then chasing after him were Wout van Aert and Matteo van der Poel. So they had a big screen, not right there, but further a little bit where I could watch some of what's going on. And mostly though, Pro Cycling Stats now has a live feed on the races. I don't know if you've seen that, but they'll do like, because I used to follow on Cycling News the feed of what's going on, but Pro Cycling Stats has a very good feed of showing the composition of the break, where they are, what's coming up, and then they give all the stats about the different riders too that are in the break, or more stats than you know what to do with.
I did notice that recently. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was helpful to have that. But by the last time they went up the Oude Kwaremont, I think some of the photographers, not as many seem to be there because that's not too far to the finish. They need to get back on their motorcycles and make sure they don't miss whatever happens to the finish.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as crowded, so it was better that time. And that last time up with the pairing of Oude Kwaremont and Paterberg, it was already Mads Pedersen in front.
Off the front? Yeah.
It
was a bold move. I think with 46K or something like that to go, he went. That was a long ways.
He was up there, but almost catching him at that point where I was Tadej Pogačar, who just, man, he every place that he could climb, he put in a nice, strong effort, and he was able to dislodge all his competition. And he caught Mads Pedersen by the top of that climb, and then went on, of course, to solo to win. Matteo van der Poel was not too far behind, and then, of course, Wout van Aert, who, when he got dislodged on the Kreuzberg, he had Nathan Van Hooydonk up front. That it took, I think, almost 3 kilometers before they decided they got him to drop back to help Wout van Aert get back. And it was almost time for the Oude Kwaremont, I think, where the next effort was put in that didn't give him a chance to really get back, although he was going to probably get dropped anyway, again, since he was missing something. And I was talking to John Hickox. He said he was watching with a bunch of friends in the Netherlands, and they were, giving their, he said, expert opinions. We're just talking about what's going on. And something that, Van der Poel has just got more power, and it's just really stronger. I can do a stronger acceleration than Wout van Aert. Yeah. But he seemed to be in super form from the weekend before at Wevelgem and the E3. And just, I don't know if that crash where he had blood on his knee, if that,
he didn't say that
it affected him, but it seemed like with those small margins of effort that you need to make, it seems like it could have made a difference. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how he recovers and what happens at Paris-Roubaix, which Van der Poel thinks that it's more suited for Wout van Aert than Van der Poel, but maybe he's downplay his chances. But he was not maybe as disappointed as you might think he would have been from not being able to win Flanders a third time, which would have put him in elite company. But he put in super effort. Didn't go below 400 watts from the Paterberg all the way to the finish. And
wow,
he's like, I couldn't do any more. I did everything I could. It was more chapeau to Tadej Pogačar, how strong he was. So
he did close down the gap a little bit at one point too. So Pogačar's obviously a great time trialist, but there was a moment there where the gap was closing a second or two here and there. So it was obviously a good battle, and no one gave up.
Yeah, I was surprised. I think after Mads Pedersen being out front as long as he was, that he was still able to win that field sprint for third place, and to beat Wout van Aert, who maybe he was hurting a little bit. I don't know. He had to put in some strong effort to chase back too.
Then Neilson Powless, fifth.
Neilson Powless right after that.
Right after.
When you think about Neilson Powless, the only 4 guys that were ahead of him were Tour de France and 4-time monument winner, 3 different monuments, 4 wins. Another multiple monument winner, Matteo van der Poel, and then Wout van Aert. I mean. Right? And Mads Pedersen, a world champion, and I mean those were the only guys ahead of him. I mean, no, it was great. And listening to George Hincapie, I've never listened to any of their podcasts before, although I finally did after Mons and Remo. They put them up right the same day, so we're like way behind as far as these other ones. But where I was thinking that, man, we used to have to wait. Like I remember not even that long ago, we'd watch the races live. Maybe there would be some online articles, but not a lot. But you really wait till you got the Velo News magazine where you could read the articles and really kind of get the stuff that you missed, like the depth of some of the races. But now they're doing podcasts on the same day of the race. But the first one I was listening to was after Milan San Remo, and they had Lance Armstrong and George Hincapie. And Lance I never listened to him before, and apparently he was in a good mood, but he still seems a little on edge. And just when this Flanders one was just George Hincapie, Hunt Brunel. It seemed a lot Well, they were supposed to have Johan Museo.
Uh,
Lance is on vacation in the Bahamas with his kids, so he wasn't going to be there.
oh, okay.
So George and they were supposed to get Johan, Museo, but he had car troubles or something, so he didn't make it. Yeah. So it's just, and so, but George is just more like it's almost like you forget that he did 17 tours and all these that he was on the podium, the only male American to be on the podium at Flanders. He was second at Paris-Roubaix. Because he did the Sportivas, like, man, I can't believe I did this 17 times so hard. and also the way he was talking,
pretty good shape too now.
Yeah,
too.
And the way he was talking to him about how difficult and like scary the racing is. I don't know if he'd want his son to do the racing, although he's going to be really good if he chooses to or wants to do that. So, but it seems more like a lot closer to not us as because our abilities are nowhere close to him, but as a more regular fan of the sport too, then Lance just seems like he's just in a different.
Yeah.
He's just a different personality. Yeah. But what I was going to say though about George, listening to him, it was exciting to hear his excitement about how great he thought that the big move with the Mads Petersens and the Kasper Ekstrings was Matteo Jorgensen and Nielsen Paulus, two Americans, bringing their first Ronde van Vlaanderen in that move and being up there all the way battling towards the end. That was really special. So unfortunately, coming up to Roubaix, I mentioned that we were looking always forward to the next race because things just keep going. And Roubaix, we have, I think, only one American racing, Magnus Sheffield.
Magnus Sheffield, yeah, I saw him in there, but that might be it, huh?
Yeah. I thought
Magnus is done well in the U23 one too, right? So.
Yeah. Last year, didn't he do pretty well too? I thought. Have to look and see for sure. I thought one time Quinn Simmons might be a rider that would be, but he's more focusing on the Ardennes Classics this year. So.
Yep.
Yeah. But so it won't be as exciting on the men's side, not having as many Americans like we had to cheer in Flanders.
Yeah, Paris-Roubaix, he was outside the time limit last year.
Mm.
But he was in the De Bonstrafil, whatever,
De Bonstrafil, yeah.
Yeah, he won. He won.
That's what he won. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew he won one of the smaller classics last year. So he seems to be in pretty good form too. How did he finish it?
Ronde van Vlaanderen.
Yeah.
69th last year. Last year.
Oh, this year.
This year. I forget what he did.
Not
this
sure
year.
show up. Yeah. So but
he was 28th. Pretty good.
It's no Tadej Pogačar for this year's Paris-Roubaix. Every time someone wins and they show off third Tour de France swimmer ever to win Ronde van Vlaanderen. Only is done 75 by Eddie Merckx and 55, I think, by Bobet. But Bobet, yeah. So will he race Paris-Roubaix and maybe a couple of years? Sounds like he wants to do it. He wants to do every race, beef up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's going to go for all 5 monuments. So he's only two-way. Mont Saint Remo, which he's already proven he can be there. It's just got to be the right year to make it work out.
Yeah, he's just got to. He seems pretty smart to figure out what do I have to do to win these races. So
although you tried
a couple of things.
When Peter Sagan started doing Mont Saint Remo, everybody thought that was his race. He's going to win it for sure, and he second twice. So
I still can't believe he got beat by Kwiatkowski and in that sprint there. Right?
Yeah. So you think that'd be one that Pogačar would be able to figure out, and then Paris-Roubaix, hard to say again too. He's 24 years old. So he's a lot.
I want to see him race the Giro sometime too. I'm sure he wants to do all these races.
Yes. My thinking is he wants to do all 5 monuments, win all 5 monuments, and then win all 3 Grand Tours too. So
now I guess it wasn't until '89 that was it Hein Verbrugge that then they were changing the World Tour into a different series. But he was saying, but the monuments are protected. That was like the first mention where the top races, top 5 or 6 races. The monuments that he called that they weren't really called monuments before then.
Oh, I don't know.
I haven't done any research, but that they really came into focus more. And I wonder what the 6th one was if he was saying 5 or 6, because I don't think. Amstel Gold is just not old enough race. Amstel race.
Yeah,
but
that's the goal
started
too.
at 66, and so
a sponsor the whole time too. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a great race, and then Flèche Wallonne just comes up too much the Mur de Huy climb at the finish, so they don't categorize as much as monument. If another monument ever came up, I mean, if you'd ever add one, I guess Strade Bianche might have a chance because
again,
of how, but it doesn't have the
yeah.
history, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's different.
The qualifies for a monument, but anyway, yeah, I guess Tadej Pogačar can do what he wants to do if he tries, but still no guarantees of anything.
The race searched for 6 monuments, and the only thing he came up was possibly Strade Bianche. Yeah.
But this weekend's Roubaix, hopefully we'll have another big battle between Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert, who's still has a stronger team than Alpes and Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Positioning, I mean, a lot can happen too in that race, especially untimely flats or
certainly, roughness of the course, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the Tour of Flanders produces more true winners where the strongest really do prevail than Paris-Roubaix is more the strongest and luckiest can get through, or no bad luck. I don't know, but
yeah, I think
you still have to be pretty strong, but
more tactical, I think, sometimes than Flanders too. Flanders seems like the strongest people kind of claw their way to the top, and and it seems like Paris-Roubaix over the years, sometimes it's goes down to more tactics as well. So
yeah, I mean Paris-Roubaix, you've had surprise winners like Johan van Summeren or Matty Hayman that you wouldn't expect it to win, and it seems, I don't know if Tour of Flanders you have maybe as many unexpected winners. I don't know, Alberto Betio, maybe he goes in that category. So, but yeah, it seems like more chance maybe with Paris-Roubaix. It's going to be fantastic though. The women are just it's the 3rd year for them. So, and I kind of almost prefer. I was super glad that I could watch both, be there for both in one day, and it helped me with my press pass too. But to have their race separate on Saturday. Yeah,
tomorrow. Because in Flanders the women were after the men.
Right after. Yeah.
So
and the fans, I thought, hopefully they're not going to just leave when the men's done, but no, they didn't. They had a special reason to stay because Oude Kwaremont, who was out in front, she was coming up solo up the Oude Kwaremont. Only time they went up, and being Belgian, and of course the men, they didn't have a Belgian winner for the men. Oude Kwaremont though gave the Belgian fans something special to cheer for. The big crowds.
They just kind of dominated that race too, right? So
they were super relaxed before. Maybe this is where we work in the interview. So
sure.
After I got to Oudenaarde and went in, got press credentials, and it was almost time for the team presentations, and I got a list like what order they're coming because I was behind the stage, so I didn't get to see them getting all introduced and what questions might have been asked them in the crowd at the square Oudenaarde. But I was right in the mixed zone behind, which there seemed to be plenty of room for the people that were there. I didn't have to fight my way at all, and I had my number sheet to make sure I could pick out the Americans that I wanted to talk to, because that's what I wanted to focus on, of course. And I think I talked to most of the ones I wanted to. And then I had the order. Fortunately, they were spread out enough, the teams that were coming through, and they were all gracious to stop by. And the first one, who we talked to before right on the podcast, Lily Williams, who's got multiple disciplines that she's racing in. And I talked to her a little bit after. She was joking about comparing track racing to racing in the Ronde van Vlaanderen, and didn't want me to put in the part where she would rather be on the track, which she wouldn't. She was joking. So now I'm not gonna put that part of the interview. I'll skip that. Yeah, weather-wise. I'll get temperatures too. She was really pumped about the big race. Lily Williams for Human Powered Health.
No, I'm of course joking. This is for sure the best race of the entire season, in my opinion. Being here in Flanders with all the fans, it's the epitome of bike racing. Yeah.
What are you looking for yourself personally? What's a good race for you today?
The first year I was here, I was on the legs of my life and just had no idea what to do with them. So I think realistically a top 10 or top 20 is not an impossible result for me, but I'm still just building the experience in Europe to get to that point, and I think I just have to pay my dues and do the racing and see how it goes. But we have a strong team. You know, we have people from the area, so we have local knowledge, and at the end of the day, you know, we just want to do well and have a safe race.
How about riding the cobbled climbs? I mean, it's a lot different than riding on a smooth track, right? So what's your approach to getting over them smoothly?
I think the cobbled climbs actually really suit the track riders. They force you to sit, which, you know, seated power is obviously a skill that you have from riding on the track. And it's just all about positioning into the climbs. And as long as you're in the right spot and you can get over without, you know, having to get off your bike, then you're, you know, way ahead of most of the field.
All right. Well, best of luck. Can I get a quick picture?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Lily's, really putting the focus or the spotlight on Ronde van Vlaanderen as the big one-day race. I mean, outside of the World Championships for the road season, as one-day races go, it's right at the top, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're from Belgium, I hear it's at the top. They say it's bigger than the World Championships. So yeah, it's I mean, in some ways too, because it's got, you know, climbing enough that a Tour de France winner can win it, and it's got the cobbles, and it's a long race, and so it has a lot of elements that, you know, kind of make it very interesting in a lot of different ways. So yeah, they certainly one of the top wins. You know, and everybody's gonna have races that they feel is better or worse for some reasons. You know, people talk about Mont San Remo only being exciting in the end, but the whole thing has got a rhythm to it and stuff too. And Flanders is a little bit more dynamic, I think, and things can happen at different spots in the race that make a big difference. Not, you know, someone can go away and win with a lot of kilometers left, and they can win it in the sprint. So it's certainly, takes the top spot for a lot of people. Yeah, well, the next I grabbed was Megan Jasgrab, who's already been on a podium earlier this year, racing very strongly. So just, you know, what she was looking to get out of the race is being a longer, more difficult race. So talked to her, and this is what she had to say. All right, Meg, you've already had a great start to the Classic season. You're just working to keep it rolling, right?
Yeah, definitely. Every race is an opportunity, but we have a great leader in Piper Georgie, so today we'll just be protecting her and just trying to make it as far as we can and make sure she's in position to try and follow the best today.
And how are you feeling as far as your build-up? Are you right at your peak right now? Do you feel like you're come into here, or are you still working?
I still feel like I'm growing and developing every race. I definitely don't feel like I'm peaked. I think I have some big goals in the end of the season or middle of the season. So yeah, but every race is a learning opportunity, and the form is there right now. So hopefully it's still here today after the last couple of weeks, and yeah, just see where it can take me.
How special is this atmosphere? I mean, this is one of the biggest races on the calendar for sure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the big races for sure. Like everyone's really nervous about it, I know, and I'm just like, oh, it's just another race. Like, I'm not saying it's like not spectacular and stuff, but I don't think every race I do, I want to do my very best in. So no matter what the name of the race is, I'm just going to give my all.
So the calming effect on the team you are today?
I think we have a really young team, but experienced team. So everyone's coming in with that mindset, and we know our roles, and we're just going to give it our best.
All right. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next step, I grabbed Lauren Stevens.
Megan and Lily both are from this area. So Megan was at Millikan College in Johnson City, and Lily lives here in Asheville. So the first two are people that I've ridden with here locally.
Yeah, excellent. Well, then caught Lauren Stevens, who's been racing for quite a long time, it seems, in the U.S. Of course, she was a long time with TIBCO Silicon Valley. Well, now she's still with Silicon Valley Bank, but unfortunately they've had all their big mess. But with the EF education, and she is accomplished in many ways. Big U.S. rider, but she was excited to be there as well, and she had a lot to say. All right, Lauren, I've seen you like lots of years over racing. I mean, but here we are at the Oude Square, Ronde van Vlaanderen. I mean, this is about as good as it gets, isn't it, for classics riding?
Yeah, I mean, this is the race that, you know, when you tell people that you race bikes, it's besides the Tour de France, it's the race that they know. So it makes it super exciting. The atmosphere, it's next level. I've spent a lot of time training in this area, so it almost feels like a home race just because I know the roads inside and out. So yeah, looking forward to today's race.
So what's the game plan for you today? You've got your specific role for sure, right? But
Yeah. For me in particular, I'm trying to make it into that finale. So my first big focus is into the Koppenberg, being sure that I'm in good position. But we're hoping to get some riders up the road before that so that we can increase our numbers in that front group and have some cards to play in the final.
Have you talked about the wind? How's the wind going to be coming into the final today?
Yeah, into the final, it's going to be a crosswind, so that will definitely make that last stretch harder. It'll be cross tail, so also really fast. But I think one of the big decisive moments is going to be early in the race, that there's could be some splits over the top of the Molenberg.
How are you feeling personally?
I'm feeling good. So, I haven't had any spectacular races, but some solid races, and I feel like I'm just getting stronger and stronger, and I think I can do something today.
How does gravel racing help you prepare for a race like this with the cobbles positioning probably is a big thing here as well, but the rougher roads, does the gravel give you a little advantage with your experience?
Yeah, definitely, in the U.S. racing gravel, you're racing with the boys, so you're racing with stronger riders and really technical scenarios. So, if I can just channel that same energy that I do when I'm fighting into corners with the guys, doing that same thing here, then, definitely it helps.
Awesome. And the temperature, is that okay? Is this that?
I really don't like the temperature, but I'm happy that it's dry. So, you just got to take what you can get.
Well, Lauren Stevens, we compared her experience with gravel racing. It was interesting to hear her how she pointed out that she's got that fighting spirit with the racing with the men to get where you need to be, because a lot of these races, it's not as much the climb, but the fight to get to the front for the start of the climb that makes the race to the start. So it's a big part of the race. So then had Corinne Lebecki, the only American to ever have won the Tour of Flanders, next to talk to her. And she has, like she mentioned, here, listen to her. All right, Corinne Lebecki, the only American to ever won the Ronde van Vlaanderen.
Yeah.
Man, what an honor. Every time you start this race, it must be something special for you.
Yeah, it's special. It brings back good memories, and it's always nice to race here. And I love the crowds. It kind of reminds me of home, so I think that's why I like this race so much.
What about this weather? It's far from California weather. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, well, it's been a cold spring, so at this point we're pretty used to it. And you could even say today's a nice day compared to days like Gent-Wevelgem and Drenthe. So it's nothing new. It's just part of the game now.
Yeah, it's not raining, so that's a big plus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How are you feeling?
Shape's not super great right now, but we're just getting some racing back in. I missed a lot of races last year due to illness, so just trying to get back into the rhythm.
What do you feel your role will be today? What are you looking for you to get out of it for you personally?
I'm team captain today, so I'm here to set up the girls for the final and make sure they're all in good position going into the Koppenberg and the hard parts of the race.
Right. Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. Yeah, Corinne's still on her way back, building back her fitness after having a difficult year last year. But it
just shows too that it's like you think, well, last year that was such a long time ago, and she had trouble with fitness then. But it just shows that these racers don't just train for a month or two. I used to always think it was amazing when boxers would train for 6-8 weeks before a big fight, and that was their early training camp. But it's like these guys have to be in shape for a long period of time to really have this kind of elite mentality. So as good as Corinne is, she's like, I'm not really doing the fitness to be able to be fighting out for the win. So she's team captain, trying to set things up for other people.
All right. Well, in the mixed area, I was just trying to decide, maybe it's already going on now with our video, if I could put up the pictures and just run the the photos I took, because I took several photos of the other top riders that were being interviewed as they went by. And I did catch one of the non-American, but riding for SD Works, Demi Vollering, one of the best riders now in the peloton, and
it's a sprint for herself these days. Yeah,
SD Works, so they just have so many different options, and they seemed super relaxed, and I guess they should have been, because they had almost every plan covered. So I asked Demi just a little bit about the wind, if they were figuring that at all. But yeah, I think they had a plan for everything. Can you just tell me, what are you thinking about the cross tailwind coming into the finish? Are you already thinking about positioning early? To go with that kind of wind where you could really go early and use the wind to advantage? Or are you thinking about that?
The wind is big
a big role today, I think. But it's also a bit up to the other teams, of course. It's nice if they also try to play already a bit. But we really need to see how the race develops.
Of course, there's Debbie Fullering that did come in second, but with having a teammate up the road, I mean, it always gives an advantage if you have riders up the road. That's why the early break, like for the men's race, is important for like the likes of Wout van Aert or Teddy Pogacar, get somebody up there early on so they don't feel any necessity to be using energy
chasing down
anything. Yeah. So, yeah, but the day is just fantastic day. I was very, very happy and satisfied with how everything went. So my first Tour of Flanders, I always wanted to go there at least once, so I can check that one off. But I was telling the media guy, I was thinking, hey, things it was the first one's always very memorable, and he said, yeah, we'll see you back next year for number 2.
Yeah. I said, just look at the results too. So Lottie Kopecki's this year, she says only 5 finishes. And
she had a podium though.
Yeah, well, again, Vemmigan, she was 70th. And everything else, she was first, second, and first.
Oh, a lot of Kopecki.
Kopecki.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking of Corinne Rivera when you were.
No,
Corinne Lebecki.
Yeah.
Corinne did have a podium, I thought, earlier in a stage race this year. But Lotte Kopecky has been on fire. She could be doing the double of Tour of Flanders and Roubaix. She's could be one of the top riders, and she does want to come in by herself, I think, because she could end up sprinting her teammate again, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Like Estrada Bianchi. So
that was a tough one too. So she was second last year in Paris-Roubaix. So she's
but Lisa Longo Borghini is going to be defending hers. Win last year, right?
Yeah, and then
she was third. She had been sick. She had a COVID, didn't she? COVID sickness before. I think she was recovering, but she seems to be well recovered.
Yeah.
So Trek Segafredo, they're just trying to do something to disrupt this domination that S3 Works has had recently.
Yeah, it's a good down too, because it used to be just one woman's team dominated for a long time, and now it's definitely a much more balanced race. But SD Works has been coming out on top a lot lately.
Right. Unfortunately, Annemiek van Vleuten, the world champion for Movistar, she was caught up in that run up Koppenberg because the front of the riders were slipping a little bit and lost their footing and had to put their foot down, and it just caused everyone behind to have to stop and then run up the rest of the way. And once the top few riders got going again, that was pretty much the race where they got up the road.
Yeah, it's just craziness, I mean, and just I'd heard too that there was, I didn't really see a whole lot of that race. I didn't see any of it, but so a little bit was going on. But Lotte Kopecky got off the front, and then it was a weird dynamic, because they had several people in the chasing group too. So there's a lot of people were hesitant, I guess, to try and go after that too, and it was an odd dynamic, I guess, in the chase.
Yeah, well, Lotte Kopecky didn't want to have Prosecco go with her to the finish because she's got a pretty fast finish, so she did what she could to make sure she got away from her too. But then she got rid of everyone else that way.
Yeah.
Even her teammates there could have helped her. So
2 other teammates in that groups there. So it was
right.
Yeah.
Well,
good. I mean, that was fan. I mean, the chase group was amazing too. So I mean, even her teammates, Vollering, and then she had Marlene Rousseau. Yeah, too. Both riders are just amazing riders too. And then Prosecco, to see her coming on so strongly, she's still relatively new and stuff too. And Longo Borghini, who's been around for a while, and Neodomo has been around for a while too. It's just Juliette Lebeau too. It was just, I mean, this a star-studded finish. And like you said before too, this race kind of brings out the best people. It certainly was true of the women's race too.
Right. Well, this is I didn't say the date yet. It's Friday, the 7th of April, Good Friday.
Yeah.
And it is episode 232 of the Warren Cycling Podcast.
232. Wow.
Yeah. And 332.
332. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a. I'll double check it, but 322.
322. Yeah, is it
Yeah.
330 already? So
Yeah.
I should look and see because
322.
322. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check.
Yeah, but we just didn't really have time to really go back to the Catalonia tour where I got to be there on the finish. Remco Evenepoel and Primož Roglic battling out, and those two just really rose above the rest. And it's going to be a great showdown at the Giro. And Evenepoel, maybe because he sat up on that one win, cost a chance to be. But Roglic, he couldn't get rid of Roglic. I mean, they were both neck and neck. Evenepoel, I always been kind of like not as big an Evenepoel fan just because he seems kind of a little full of himself, but too confident. I don't know, but seeing him in person and seeing how his enthusiasm for racing and his graciousness in a way too, I'm softening a little bit. I'm starting to like him. He seems to be maturing more. Maybe that you can say, but it's going to be a really interesting Giro. And I guess maybe since we're mentioning it right now, Sepp Kuss, who I did get to see, I think I put on Instagram just pictures that I took of him with his interview, the interview that I had with him, a short interview, chatting with him a little, and also with him speaking in Spanish too. His great Spanish. He was doing an interview before I talked to him, but I asked him about, here he is at Catalonia racing with Primož Roglic, who's going to the Giro. You gonna go with him to the Giro? And he was like, no. Well, here's his answer.
On a track to stay with Primož to go to the Giro this year, or you're going to still go to the Tour?
No, sure. Plenty of the Tour and the Vuelta.
Yeah.
Turns out, breaking news.
Yeah, he is going to the Giro now.
Wilto Kelderman's his injuries from that Tirreno Adriatico crash, which is not enabling him to be prepared to race the Giro, so they're calling Sepp Kuss. So, what's going to happen with Sepp in the Giro Tour double, and it won't do the Vuelta, I guess, then, right?
Probably not, but you never know, of course.
He was supposed to do the Tour de Suisse, too, so...
Yeah, we mentioned off here, Loreno Lajareta, he was a Spanish climber, and he used to do all 3 Grand Tours in 1 year, and at least in 1 year, he finished top 5 in all 3. So that's an amazing feat.
Well, how long ago was that?
1980s, I think.
Yeah.
So
80s.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So wow.
Yeah.
So, but Sepp, though, we were saying too, he's the kind of rider who is a specialist, climbing specialist, and the days he's not required to be up there with the team leader, he can maybe take those days a little bit easier. So that might help him to be able to recover better, because I know they're going to want him in the Tour, and so he might be able to not overextend himself for the whole race as much in the Giro, and then maybe be ready to support Vindigo in the Tour again too.
Yeah, well, now that you mentioned Vindigo, the Itzuria Basque Country Tour has been going on, and Jonas Vindigo is looking phenomenal. He is, he's got. I'm trying to put it in context, because the first race he did was in Spain earlier, had like just races. Another World Tour team. He was, just dominating. But then he goes to Paris-Nice, goes right up against Pogačar, and he didn't look so dominating there. Pogačar was making him suffer a bit. But now here, I don't know if he's,
there's no Pogačar there.
At the top, there's no Pogačar there, but he's looking very dominant, dominant. Mikel Landa was able to go up to him, but I think yesterday's stage, he was looking for someone. He didn't want to go solo up the last climb and all the way down to the finish. So he put in the effort, looked back, all right, anybody gonna come with me? Somebody needs to come with me. Landa said, okay, I'll come with you. And so they got together, and then Landa had him get to the front, like at almost last 2K coming into the finish, but then there was a tight left turn, and he didn't come to the inside at all. He let Vindigo stay on the inside. It was only like 75 meters to the finish, so there wasn't. So Vindigo was able to get the win. So
they
he used Landa really well.
So
they were slowing up towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think at the end too is like Vindigo wanted to get the win. So I think he was able to do a little more work, because if he would have done the work there, I think Landa might have let him get caught, and that would have been good for either one of them. So I think Vinigo showed how strong he was, because he was able to stay at the front, and then I think he just powered it. The left-hand corner was kind of tight. I saw it. It wasn't though that technical that he
wasn't that tight, but he just positioned himself better than Landa did, who Landa could have undercut him maybe, or gone.
Yeah, and then he just powered through it.
Yeah,
the power was enough to carry him through to the finish. Yeah.
No, he's looking very impressive. The rest of his teammates, Sam Oman, Stephen Kreiswijk, I don't know who else is there, but they haven't been necessarily with him. The Queen Stage is, I believe, tomorrow, Saturday. Well, we'll see, maybe more attacks. But EF Education, they've got Richard Carapaz, who, he's their big signing.
Yeah.
But and they got Rigoberto Urán, they've got Esteban Chavez, so they were
attacking like crazy yesterday.
Yeah, but they didn't get anywhere.
No,
they attacked for a few hundred meters, didn't get any really separation, and then they're done. And so, Carapaz, the first few stages, I thought, okay, he's going to do something, but he hasn't been as strong. But fortunately for us as American fans, so Brandon McNulty, who haven't really seen him do much, but he's sitting there. He's 9th overall in the GC, but he's only like 8 seconds off a third.
Yeah, he's been riding really strongly, for sure.
Yeah, he's been up there. Maybe tomorrow he has a chance to perhaps make up the time to get up.
The race ends tomorrow. Yeah, and it doesn't finish with a climb either, so it has a lot of climbing in it.
Yeah, on the other day we had one summit finish, but yeah, it's a lot of climbing, big climb, more climbing tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so we'll see. It's the kind of day that everybody's been put under pressure too. I think it was 3 Cat 1s in the race too, and then a Cat 3 towards the finish, and then it actually looks like an uphill even after the descent off the last Cat 3 climb. There's a long hard descent, and then a little bit uphill after that. So it'll be a super hard stage for sure.
Yeah, and won't be a tomorrow then, right? So everybody.
That's it. Yeah.
Giving everything. Yeah. So that's a nice race. But yeah, we won't see, I guess, head to head Vinigo and Pogačar till the Tour, right? But Pogačar's, I think, he's going to do some more one-day races, right? He's going to do Liège, Bastogne-Liège.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe Flèche-Wallonne and Amstel, I don't know. And then he's going to do like the Tour of Slovenia before. And Roglic is just going to go do like training. So
not racing a lot, yeah.
No, so I don't know what.
Because he crashes a lot in races, so Roglic's trying to avoid that.
Evenepoel's going to probably do Bastogne-Liège again, right? Because he won that, so I like to see that with him racing against Pogačar. That would be interesting. So we got that to look forward to coming up. Always lots of races good coming up. Man, is there anything that we've missed? I mean, there's always so much more we can talk about.
Yeah.
But I know
I'm
you
on
got
vacation, and I think so I'm not paying them quite as much attention. But
you camp, vacation, and then getting ready to go your big trip to Italy, to Sardinia. Did you go to Sardinia?
Yep. Yeah, I've got a couple clients coming in just the days before that, and then going off to Sardinia we go to Tuscany for a few days, then we go to Sardinia, and then we finish off with a day in Rome. So a 6-day stage race in Sardinia. We're looking forward to doing that. Be doing the 60 plus, and I think I've done it. I think it's the 4th time. Enough. Not
the 60 plus though before.
No, I think it's enough that I think that I might have a shot at podium in the 60 plus. So I'm gonna try best to do well. And a couple of my athletes are coming along as well, and we're racing with Max Lally, so we're excited just to be that trip. That'll be a great one, no matter what. Yeah,
for sure. Just a couple things that we mentioned earlier that we didn't say yet on the podcast that we were talking before. Cirque d'Ardennes. It's I guess that's a coupled stage race, but Cooper Johnson, American, got a podium, was 3rd place in the stage 1, riding for
Higgins Berman.
I had to make sure I said it right because Higgins Berman Action.
Yeah.
Used to be the other way around. Yeah.
It changes all the time.
The U23 national champion. So wanted to mention that. Also, this Saturday is the first of the 4 big NCL races, the National Cycling League Criterium in Miami. They've got Denver, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C. Big money, NBA backing. interesting formula, kind of points race, kind of for crit, men and women scoring together, men's and women's teams, substitution of riders. It's going to be on GCN Plus. So,
is it? Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have any more to say about what it's going to be, but we'll have to tune in and figure this out.
Yeah, my friend Johnny Clark's racing it too for the Miami team, so it'll be interesting. See, yeah, he actually showed up at the Ring of Fire, first time in 13 years last week. I was doing camp, so I couldn't go down there. But it's his first Ring of Fire in 13 years, and he doesn't like crits. He's told me before he doesn't really like crits that much, but he's racing for a crit team in the crit league. Racer. And he won. So I mean, mostly local racers, not like but crit specialists and guys that are really fast and not really his cup of tea, and yet still came out there and he won. So he's a strong rider, too. So NCL is creating a lot of waves, so things are happening.
Yeah, well, they're trying to make it a little more fan friendly for non-cycling fans to be able to understand the racing. So, which is kind of funny because I don't understand exactly how they're going to do with the pointer. How is the other people that don't know going to understand? But they're going to
explain it probably as it's happening.
Yeah. So that'll be fascinating. We didn't mention the sprinter friendly race, Skeller Price. Jasper Philipsen got the win for Alpecin Deceuninck. He's been really good this year.
Yeah.
But Matteo Van der Poel gave him another good lead out. I say with him leading out, he can make a good lead out. So with his strength, but Mark Cavendish was third, so that's maybe notable that he was up there. What else I wanted to mention?
I guess Cavendish hasn't won a race yet this year, so he's really
trying
to build towards that for sure. Yeah.
Well,
did you see too that Alejandro Valverde's going to race?
Oh, he's going to do a gravel. Yeah. I saw. I think it was Christopher Blevins. He teamed up with the South African.
South African.
Yeah, they were behind. I see Nino Schulter was with wasn't Will Frischneck, it was Anders Frischneck, I think. Maybe they're brothers. Anyway, but they came from behind. They won the Cape Epic. That's a big race in South Africa, just testing conditions.
Who won the women's race? That was always it's usually a lot of big women go there too.
Yeah. You look that up while I'm looking up. Oh, I want to get up to our birthday list. That's what I wanted to see.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. I'm just seeing the top rider updates. I saw that. I know Demar is going to be racing Paris-Roubaix. Let's see. Looks like Nielsen Paus is Baptiste Peel. Well, Van Aert has got what is LBL? It's green and red. What does that mean? He is or is he not?
What's that? Oh.
Elias Bastogne, Van Aert.
Should be if it's up there.
It's a green. Well, it has usually red if they're. I don't understand this. But the Human Power Health, you saw that they signed Audrey Cordon-Rago, who's riding for Zap team that's not getting paid. So she's like, I'm not gonna stay with them. So she just got switched over to Human Powered Health. So to race Paris-Roubaix. Yeah.
Wow. That's it could be big. You never know.
Yeah. So, well, man, there was something in my head real briefly I wanted to mention, but now I forgot already. Look at the birthday list. So let's go to birthdays. If we were thinking of something at the end, we'll think of something. Big birthday.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. So the winner's 5. I didn't see it, but it's people I can't pronounce their names very well.
Cape Epic, yeah.
Yeah, women's races. So
I think there was a South African and a
Kim Lacourt
and a Namibian. No, there was some.
Yeah, Namibian. Yep.
Yeah, Namibian. I thought it was.
Vera Loser.
Not a loser at all.
Very LOSER. So a powerful road rider. It was
Katrina Nash was way up there.
Yeah.
She was they were sitting third, I think.
Okay. So really good birthdays today.
Yeah.
I've not checked it out. And
You haven't checked?
Are we on the time yet? Is it tomorrow's or today's? I wonder. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Yep. So.
No, we're 10:23. I'm in Germany. It's European time, 10:23. So we're still on the 7th of April, and it's not giving me the whole list here. Here, wait. Oh, birthdays. There we go. For some reason, my Pro Cycling Stats website's on night mode. I haven't.
Oh.
Dark mode, whatever. I don't know. I don't read it as well when it's black for some reason. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Well, big celebration today. Good podcast on April 7th to celebrate Andy Hampson's birthday today.
Yeah.
Andy Hampson's 61.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we need to even say his Palmares?
Well, yeah. So 88 Giro d'Italia, twice.
Yeah, only
he won
American
the
to
Tour
win
de
the
Suisse.
Giro d'Italia.
Yeah. And he won a stage the year before, and he has the famous, Gavia Pass where he was snowing. Yeah. But he didn't even win that day though. Urs Zimmerman won that day. He passed him on the descent. So I think Hampson crusted the climb and lead, and then Zimmerman passed him. But that was a wicked day. They would definitely not be racing today if that weather was like that.
No, they would have canceled the stage. It wouldn't happen.
But he won 3 stages of the tour, including one that year too. He won the famous Alpe d'Huez stage of the Tour de France in '92.
He's the best young rider of the tour.
Yeah,
fourth place. So he got as high as 4th, right?
Yep, raced on La Viclaire. So with the super team, when Bernard Hinault and Greg LeMond and Steve Bauer and he were on the same team. I think actually Ron Kiefel was on the team. No, Roy Nick won. I think Roy Nick was on the team that year too. Yeah. So that was quite the team. Yeah, he's just unbelievable.
89, when John Hickox and I were backpacking around and went to the prologue at Luxembourg, and we slept in a park because we saw the 7-Eleven team. Where the hotel was right there. Oh, we got to hang around here. So we slept in a park and got up and went in and ate breakfast. Like, oh, there they are over there. But then we found their truck with their their mechanic and stuff, and just right there on the road, we just started talking to him and talked to the riders. Andy Hampson was so modest. we saw him in Chicago once too, just walking down the street, recognized him. Hey, Andy Hampson.
he came to a fundraiser for the Northbrook Cycling Committee one time too, and I actually have a signed poster of him going over the pass in the snow too. So I'm not sure where it is, but I have it someplace. But he raced for Postal Services last year in '96, and then he was on Banesto in '95 too, and then Motorola, of course, before that in 7-Eleven. So
and he does tours, right? He does bike tours.
Yeah, he lives in Tuscany, I think. Last I heard, at least, and he owns a winery and does bike tours over there. Yeah. So I think he also has a home either in Colorado or North Dakota. I think his parents were both professors, if I remember right, in North Dakota. And he used to come race Super Week, bunch of crits, not a crit racer at all. And he used to come race Super Week, and I'd hear stories about that still, when he would be on the barnstorming tour with other Americans trying to pick up money to survive.
Yeah,
he raced for Raleigh at one point too, I think, but they weren't a pro team at that point, so they don't have him on there. But I think I saw something about a race recently, and they had the history of it. And they had Greg LeMond and Andy Hampson. Greg LeMond and his Red Zinger up it, I think, and that also had Andy Hampson in his Raleigh uniform. So yeah, a lot of history with Andy for sure. And he's like you said, understated. Seems like a super nice guy. I don't really know him, but times I talk to him, super nice guy.
Well, number 2 on the list is still active racer, George Bennett, the New Zealander. He won the Tour of California, didn't he?
I think so.
Ran for UAE, so one of the big domestiques now for UAE Emirates.
33. Yeah, he won in 2017 Tour of California.
Yeah.
Second at Ilamardia in 2020. Yeah. He's a super strong rider. Yeah, settled in a domestique rule now with UAE. It was pretty much everybody else's, but he's very valuable and very strong. One of the best New Zealand riders to come out along for a while. Jack Bauer, also a New Zealander.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to look at this number 3 on the list, though. Jean-Marie Wampers.
Oh, okay.
Belgian racer. Just because he's 64, so he's only 3 years older than Andy Hampson. So he raced just a few years before, but he's a Paris-Roubaix winner.
Oh wow!
So we should celebrate his birthday back in '89. He won Paris-Roubaix. So with Paris-Roubaix coming up, it's worth pointing out a former winner who celebrated their birthday on the 7th. He's also a 2-time Eschborn Frankfurt winner, which is a race that I've been to a few times. And since I've done media before, it's nice when I get a media pass for races, because then I get on their email list and I get all the communiques during the year. So I get a lot from Eschborn Frankfurt, and they just open up the accreditation. Like I get, you can now apply for credentials, and we've changed the route. Or Tour de Suisse and a lot too. So I get there, but he won twice, and then Frankfurt Eschborn race Scholar Prize also, which is a race coming up. He won before too.
Yeah, it's Julie Young's birthday. 57 years old. She was a super good cyclist back in her day too. She second in the Philadelphia International Cycling Classic when it was the championship races, I think, for the women too.
All right, happy birthday, Julie.
Yeah, really strong rider though too.
Is that Clark Sheehan? Is that an American?
Clark Sheehan was
from Denver, celebrating his 54th birthday. Stage at the Tour de France winner. Clark Sheehan,
A
race for 7-Up Colorado Cyclist Team.
Yeah, I raced with Clark sometimes too. He was, 9 years younger, 8 years younger. But he was when he was with Montgomery Bell in '95. He was a Saturn in '93. Coors Light. I think we might have done. Did we do Redlands together? Maybe in '91. Maybe Coors Light team then. I think
Kelly Emmett's 46 today. Happy birthday, Kelly. She had raced before in Redlands and Tour Gila, which are big U.S. stage races. They're coming right up in just a little less than a week as Redlands starts next week.
Yeah. Your son Taylor will be out there.
Right. He's
racing there. He got third place. He was podium at Marietta.
Yeah, Marietta over Omnium. He got third on the last day in the circuit race, and third overall for the Omnium too, besting like riders like Justin Williams and and Corey too. So yeah, he's coming in good shape. He was second on this track racing too Tuesday night at the track.
All right. Yeah, some junior hotshot there I think was cleaning up, but second to him is no small feat either. It's Josh Johnson's birthday today too, American, 29 years old.
All right, happy birthday, Josh. All right, well, we've hit the hour mark, and if I add in those interviews, it's going to push it even more. So
we got to do one more too. It's Lucas.
One more?
Lucas Bergone, I think. 22 years old. Yep, racing for CICU Nuts Antibalik. Continental team. Yeah.
All right, happy birthday.
He did get Belgium.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Sorry. Guys, I heard of him. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. We did like one of the shortest podcast last time, so we'll be on the longer end this time, and I don't even think we covered as much as we could have, but it's always great to talk to you and catch you up some too. I mean, man, I still want to go back and watch more of the Ronde van Vlaanderen, but there's so many other races coming up to watch. It's hard to keep up with them. I was trying to keep up with all the analysis because being there, I really wanted to know everything at what happened at this particular race that I was, which was just phenomenal to have like the history made in a way with Tadej Pogačar, be only the third Tour de France winner to win, and just very impressive.
Dad to his list of others too. Yep. So glad you got to go.
Yeah, it was great. I'm gonna try to, if it works out. You've seen a lot of nice pictures maybe behind our talking today, but if not, I'm going to put a separate slideshow on our YouTube channel if I don't get it integrated into our podcast today, but you'll already know by now. Okay. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, hope you have good trips and hope it clears up so you can get out riding again.
Some potential, yeah. All right, bye now.
All right, bye.